ADHD ID, a channel dedicated to autism, ADHD and dissociative identity disorder. When we go through trauma, it can be really hard to recognise our needs because often our needs were used to create power dynamics. This can make things like demand avoidance much worse. Demand avoidance happens when we're rejecting the demands put on us, whether they're literal or perceived doesn't really matter. On the surface, it seems reasonable that we wouldn't want to be told what to do by others, but actually it can cause us problems if we don't address it. Not only in situations like work where we're paid to perform like various tasks, but also in our personal relationships where our loved ones have expectations of us in terms of closeness, quality time, and attentiveness. Trauma can often instill a sense of fear around closeness or performance because most of us have unfortunately been taught that love or basic acceptance in our family was conditional. Gabor Mate, in his book Scattered Minds, called this counterwill because we're reacting to the intrusion of the other person's demand. However, this isn't actually a true act of our own will. Sometimes we get this response to things that we actually really need or love doing. So it's not a true act of will, rather it's a protest to the other person's will for us. Now, when I get this response, I ask myself, am I choosing or am I reacting? Sometimes this isn't in the moment as I struggle with the delayed processing, but the more I notice it, the closer to the moment I'm noticing the reaction. Once we've noticed other people's demands, in order to be able to choose, we need to know what do we want or need. If we have DID, then this information might be held in our parts, which is why inner communication is so important. Or it might be in the body, which we may or may not be connected to. Even if we can access the body, we might not understand the sensations and what those mean, especially if we're autistic. In the beginning of my recovery, I had a breakdown because I hadn't felt the burnout of meeting everyone else's demands, and my body was signalling to me that I was burnt out. My whole body just stopped functioning, and the doctors didn't really take it seriously. There were two things that really helped me recover. I had no idea what I needed at the time. So I remembered an A-level business class that taught me about Maslow's hierarchy of needs, which is a tiered triangle that defines what needs we have and in what order we need to meet them. I literally used this as a roadmap to build my routines. I also remembered my teacher explaining to us about opportunity cost. That's if we spend time and money or energy on one thing, by proxy we're saying no to the other opportunities which we could have done. As my body had shut down, I realised that energy was my biggest cost to my health and functioning, so meeting my needs in the right order was really important. If I spend all day cleaning my room, then I might not have enough energy to make lunch later. But if I prepare my lunch first so it's ready at lunchtime, it might give me the energy that I need to finish that room later. The disruption will still be annoying, but it's a healthier outcome. Parts might resist these new routines too. They might feel uncomfortable to be cared for, maybe even perfectionistic and tell you that you're not doing a good enough job and you can't do it right. Can it just be an experiment to see if something works, which you can refine over time? This really helps with internalized demand perception, but also performance perfectionism. Perfectionism makes us freeze and get stuck in inaction because we don't know all the steps to do it just right. And even if you don't struggle with perfectionism, sometimes neurodivergent brains will look for certainty and get anxious when it's not there, and this can stop us starting. So if we're trying something for the first time, it's not really possible to be certain of what we will do or how it will turn out. So I found that if I decide what to do and plan it before doing it, it gives us enough sense of safety to try something out. Calling it an experiment helps us with the perfectionism because if it goes wrong, it was the experiment. We can change it with the information we learnt from trying and have another go. Having a script or something like Goblin tools to break down the tasks for you into tiny steps can really help with the need for certainty and the executive functioning difficulties. The more we practice, the more we're able to get our needs met without going into overwhelm. So these routines or scripts can be a substitute for habit building if that's something that you struggle with. I know I do. And if you live with other people, it might help for you to use headphones or ask them not to interrupt you when you're trying to try things out, as this can impact you memorizing your script. Interruptions might mean that you have to go back to the beginning at first, but in time it might be possible for you to leave yourself a note where you got to in order to save yourself working out where you got to and having to go back to the beginning when you come back to it. So I hope breaking these things down has been helpful. All of these things took me a while to work out for myself, and I really wish somebody had given this information to me when we first started our recovery journey. So I hope they really help you out, and I'd love to hear what you think in the comments below. I'm planning on continuing with this series, so if you enjoyed it, please subscribe, and if notifications don't overwhelm you, please hit the bell icon. Thanks for watching!